Hey folks, and welcome back to Sevtech Ages. So I said I was going to dress the thing up, and I did. Spent quite some time working on this beast. The water tower is now looking a lot less, as one person put it, monolithic, and now looking like a stable building. A stable ancient Roman building, hopefully. So let's take a look at some of the details that I did. First up, I ran some bricks up the middle. These are actually blended. It's kind of harder to tell, and I think that's because these bricks were made on top of this texture to begin with. But these are blended between these two. Like, these are the only bricks that actually exist, the ones that my crosshair is passing over right now. Those 6 per tile. And the rest here is just this limestone texture here. So they are blended up the middle. And then I added these struts, these support struts to the lower half of the structure, and gave them little terracotta peaks for water runoff. And then I also did this kind of, they have a name, and I tried to remember the name last episode. I'm just going to call them sills. This run sill thing, I did one of these. If I come up to the actual base, you can see where I actually played around with some ideas. First I tried some between lands limestone. Every time I try and use that stuff I think, oh, this is going to look good, and then it never does. I guess it just doesn't fit anywhere outside of Between Lands. Like, amongst other Between Lands textures, it's fine, but with other Minecraft ones, it's not so great. But you can see there is some extra detailing there. It uses the limestone brick texture. Then, after I did that, I started to work on this, and as I mentioned, I left some mechanical pieces, and I'm actually going to go into creative here, so that I can get up and close. You can see that this layer here is actually on the outside of the block. It's not actually a 1 block thick thing, it's several blocks thick. You can't put any blocks in this space, because this is technically the block occupying that space, you know? But we've disguised it like it is, and I filled in some of these areas with some limestone, so it looks like these bits are exposed for whatever reason. And then I put some terracotta roofing on this as well, because I wanted this section, since this section here is mechanical in nature, I wanted it to be part of the water tower, which is also mechanical in nature, right? And I mean, this is what the front looks like. The front doesn't have any struts, so it does look kind of monolithic. And that's actually good, because it's a water tower. It's not like a house or anything. It doesn't need windows, which would be difficult to install at this kind of technology level. And already having aesthetic brickwork, it would just be a whole lot of extra stuff. And then I also created some arches, because arches are very common in ancient Roman architecture, practically and decorationally, because arches, of course, during those ages were some of the strongest forms of architecture for bearing weight. So there's plenty of arches there, as well as this nice terracotta roof thing going on here, which is 3 pieces. It's this piece, that piece, and that piece, and then just repeated all the way down on either side. So yeah, and then I worked on the aqueduct. Well, actually, I finished the water tower, then I built the aqueduct, and then I built this piece. And this piece isn't even done yet, because what I would like to do is blend this section more with this section. And I think in order to do that, I'm going to bring this further up until it crests into the rest of the aqueduct here. But that's for another time. But I did start on the aqueduct to give you guys an idea of how that looks. At some point we'll replace these, because these are using andesite texture, It's just that I made these a long time ago and I may as well use them. As for what texture set I chose for the aqueduct, I chose granite, even though I have the red sandstone custom texture, and that's because the red sandstone custom texture, until we get a massive source of zombie flesh, is going to be not very easy to get hold of, and sand for that matter, because of course we need 4 times as much sand as we need for the actual construction of the aqueduct itself, because it's 4 sand to every sandstone block. So we're going to need a massive amount of zombie flesh and a massive amount of sand, and that's just not really conceivable right now. I like to do things over the top, but not quite that over the top. So I'm going to get down here. The other thing I did... Whoops, that's the wrong one, game mode. Survival. I don't know why the music does that when you change game mode. Doesn't make sense to me. But we have, while I was working on this, I was taking breaks and then working on a little bit of this stuff, moving that along a little bit. Not too far, not too far, but just filling out some of the extra ones. Like, this was the hardest, extended crafting table, and we'll take a look at that in a second. But rock, paper, crystals, weirding gadgets. I'm always happy to see mods I've worked on in the pack, so we actually have a weirding gadget now, because we have a heck of a lot of gold, thanks to actually having a gold mine, so it wasn't any issue whatsoever. It's weird, 1.12 has a weird lighting bug, you saw that, it was black for a bit and now it's back to normal. I'm not sure what causes it to change, but there you go. It's keeping our area chunk loaded, even when we're not here. I finished working on ale, so let me show you what we can do with that, but now we're working on wild berry wine, which is excellent. I've got something to show you in terms of abuse. Exploitative, if you want to look at it that way. But what we can do, right, is you can use a low consumption food to fill out your hunger bar, and then you can have some ale to fill out your saturation, and on top of that you get full stomach, which stops you from having bad effects from starvation. So that's pretty good. So the bit of abuse that I've found, and this is why I want to get wild berry wine next, is because totems. You'll notice I've built a totem now. If we look at this, night vision, speed, strength, haste, yay, right? Let's drink some wine. 2 minutes of those. Drink some more wine. 4 minutes of those. So it gives you 2 minutes each time you drink it. It says up to 10 minutes. So what I imagine it does, in review, what I imagine wine does is it gives you 2 minutes, and it'll keep giving you 2 minutes until you max out at 10. So yeah, and then with wild berry, which can take in effects like this up to level 3, is you would drink enough wine to get yourself up to 10 minutes, and then you would drink enough wild berry to get you up to level 3 of these, and then you have 10 minutes of level 3 of the things that the totem gave you, right, without having to create any potions. And because we've got 1.0 of both wine and ale, it's easily reproducible after that point. Let's see how wildberry is actually doing. Wow, we got three lots of 77 and 1 of 75. So we only need you, because we do the consolidate expand, and we're going to do a consolidate run now. Boop. But yeah, today it's just kind of like an updating you guys on what I did between episodes, and also possibly looking into doing some more advancements. Because I don't want to start on the building over there. As much as I love building things, I now need to take a break from building things after doing the water tower, because it's just full on a lot of the time, doing that sort of thing. I love it to bits, and a lot of people praise me for my dedication to it, and thank you for that, but it is full on. But that's great. Like, in terms of things, like, I'm not complaining about it. What I'm saying is that now it's time to give that a break and do something else, right? Whereas some people would just be advancements for the entire course of things, like there's streamers that have already got up to age 5 and of the pack and that sort of thing. We're still in age 2 and enjoying it, and we'll continue to enjoy age 2 for a while, methinks. Oh my, it's already nighttime. Started this episode in the morning, and now it's already night. I do have a penchant for rabbiting on, it seems. So, some things that I did more is I started in filling the gaps. So, I think it's called Constellation Paper. Yeah. That ritual is very easy. It's just rock crystals, aquamarine. The hardest part is actually the parchment, because that needs the washi and the mulberry pulp and stuff like that, and the gold. And rock crystal isn't a problem at all, because I got this chest full of rock crystals, because you can have rock crystal mines. Usually, the normal balance of Astral is to have 1 or 2 rock crystals available each time you go mining for them. But in this case, it's just got lots of them in each location. So that's wonderful. And up there you can see in the distance, maybe not, depends. If you're watching on a cell phone, probably not. We've got a table up here. This is not a good spot for Astral, but it is higher up, so it was nice to put it up here in the meantime. But this is where I did some things. And I also had to make, this is probably the most important part, I had to make a resonating wand, which means I needed an ender pearl. And in order to get ender pearls, it's pretty creative in Age 2 actually. You need to use a pan cast and some molten ender pearl. And you'll remember when I went into the deep dark and killed that enderman, he dropped ender dust. So you melt the ender dust down and you put it into a pan cast and you get an ender pearl. So that's how I was able to make a resonating wand, which is pretty awesome. What else? Oh yes, I wanted to do this one with you because I realized, although I say I go mining, I've not actually taken you guys to a mine yet. I think there was one section of one episode where we were down in my coal mine already after the cut. But I've never started a mine with you guys, so just to show you guys that I'm not just magicking the ores, and I am genuinely finding them. I've got my intake atlas here, and every time I find something, I mark it. So rock crystal over here. This is the rock crystal mine I've mined. This is another one that's untapped, so when this runs out, we can go to this one. But here's some lapis in front of us. I ran out of a coal mine, so I've deleted that one, but there's more coal here. Lapis, copper, iron, tin, copper, tin, etc. Just anywhere I see it. But we are going to find some lapis, which I have marked up here. Let's find the actual lapis samples. And then I'm going to stick on F9. And now normally I would use this and just kind of click around inside this chunk to find out where in this chunk lapis is. But the problem is we're so high up and lapis is so low down that the 48 block range of the dowsing rod doesn't reach the lapis below. So we have to kind of feel this one out. And that's not so bad. So we'll just start in, like, I don't know, start here, right? And let's just do a famous spiral staircase all the way down. Right, so here we are at Y50, which I figure is close enough. And we can see if we can get lucky here. my dowsing rod. Nothing of interest up to 48, but I still have the chunk borders enabled. So I'm going to dig out here until the chunk border shows itself. There it is. And then dowsing rod, nothing of interest. So I'm going to dig right to the corner of this chunk. Check, nothing. And this is what we do. I just repeat this until I find it. Okay, we found it. It's actually really close to where we came out. Whoops. Is that true? Yeah. So if I had gone right and clicked once, I would have found it. But if we want to find the center mass of this thing, I feel like it must be this way. Because they try to be contained within one chunk. Ah, there's the center mass there. So if we dig down now, we'll end up finding our lapis. Alright, so we're down here. Let's see how far down this lapis actually is. It's at Y25, so no wonder our dowsing rod couldn't find it. But we finally hit pay dirt. We can start digging it up and get that particular achievement. Now I'm not certain what lapis is for right now, so I'm actually going to go back up, other than making this, which I made my positive chisel design out of a sample I found, obviously. But I can do things like a conversion upgrade, I guess. A lapis carrot, change horse variant color. A clock. Ah, see, that's probably what it's for. Probably for a clock. Which is made from 4 gold plates. Yeah. Luminous crafting table, nocturnal powder. I suppose that's kind of useful, actually. Is nocturnal powder... Nocturnal powder makes areas of darkness that makes creatures spawn, I think. I'm not certain. I can't remember. We can make blue dye, and that's about it in this current age, so yeah. Let me go all the way to the top here. Alright. It was nighttime when I ended up getting to the top, so I went and had a nap. Our wine is done. We gained 2 points, which is nice. Now we can just get 4 of these. Break our barrels, and it's expand time. Although I don't have enough wild berry at the moment. I only have 13, whoops, I only have 13 wild berry, and I need 16 at a time generally for 4 barrels, 32 for 8. We're gonna be doing 8 barrels at a time for each alcohol. Once we actually have a wine cellar, whenever we get to that. And I've never actually gone over the fact that I made a light well. And then what I did was I made a liquid hopper. Attached that liquid hopper to a porcelain barrel, because a porcelain barrel holds more than a clay barrel. And now we have 12 buckets of starlight off 2 rock crystals. I've only put 2 rock crystals in this thing so far, and I'm not putting another one in there, because the light well at max holds 2 buckets, I think. So it's not worth it. Since the rock crystal could shatter at any time. It has a low chance, but it could. Now, seeing as that clock was so inexpensive, and we're running out of room here. Really need to get building that main building, huh? Magnetite clump. What? I know magnetite is a form of iron, but it doesn't seem to have a use. And the ferrolocate that it came from doesn't seem to be helping me any. Anyway, I'm just going to dump that stuff and forget I ever saw it. So, let's make a clock. Of course I'm 1 gold short. That's an annoyance because now I have to break open a block. Like so. Put you in there. Turn you into plates. What hotkeys are these? 5 and 6. That always spooks me, and I know it can happen. So I'm sorry if that spooked you as well. I really am. Anvil. Happened quite a few times when I was making the screw pumps. Wouldn't you believe it? Of course you do. It's a ridiculous amount of screw pumps. Right. Now the cool thing about the clock is I think the clock and the compass both have been modified. So that you can put them in your bauble slot. If I put you in somewhere? No, okay. Well, we have a clock. Fat lot of good that does. I think the compass might be modified. Because the compass gives you your X and Y coordinates now. As well as pointing to your spawn. Right, so clock is made. Next. Oh yeah, I was going to talk about this weird thing. Okay, so this weird thing, you can't really do much with it right now except make a journey map token. This unlocks journey map for you. But it requires some excessive things. Like, for example, it's going to use my Ring of Ascent, which I'm not too happy about. And it's also going to use a lot of stuff from Twilight Forest. In order to make this beast, I needed to make these things, basic components, basic catalyst. Black iron slate was on the stone anvil. But to make black iron, you need crushed black quartz and iron ingots. So I needed to make that stuff. And then on top of that I needed stardust and 2 iron rods to make one of those, and to make the one basic catalyst that this needs I needed another 4 basic components and a black iron quartz. So in all I need 8 stardust and like a bunch of other materials that I didn't really want to spend. Oh, and it uses an iron block. So it was kind of useless making that thing right now because we don't even have access to Twilight Forest. I'm sure we will have access to Twilight Forest. And speaking of, I think that's what we're going to do for the end of the episode. So we're going to move this altar to somewhere else that I have discovered. If I grab this Fossic Resonator out of here, I have already made it with the aquamarine, liquid stardust, marble blocks and a bronze rod. Gosh, breathe, Rosie. Fossic Resonator allows me to see starlight during nighttime, so it's not going to show us anything right now, but I have taken that into consideration because I've already looked around our biome for places with good starlight, and you might be able to see one from here. No, I didn't end up marking it. There's a weak patch of starlight over there, and there's a couple of strong patches that I found. One of them is right there next to our aqueduct. I was quite annoyed by that because it would mean that whatever I built there would have to... the aqueduct would be in the way of. But this was a very strong thing of starlight, so I kept running around trying to find something. And over here, also marked by some red cedar planks, is another really strong patch of starlight. So we break you and put you there. It's weaker. I can see why that would be weaker. It's weaker because it's so much lower in Y level. But we should be able to sort that out fairly easily if we grab some materials. If it was equal in height, it would probably be giving us considerably more starlight than we were getting up on the mountain. But yeah, I guess that's where we're going to build our Acropolis. It's been decided for us. Where's that? Is that the name of it? Temple of Athena? Temple of Athena, I think. Is more closely matches the theme. Give me this. And then I guess... Oh dear. Do I just want to go straight up? I might just want to go straight up. But do I? Do I want to go straight up? I'm so conflicted. How to handle this? I think what I'm going to do is I have been processing a ridiculous amount of hemp. Which means we have no shortage of rope. Which means that we can now abuse anchors from better than wolves. And of course the structure is going to come down eventually. I'm going to take a couple of coils here. We're going to make an anchor. Anchor is 3 basic stone, I think, and a piece of iron. Let's grab some iron. Ow. Yeah, okay. Sweet deal. So this allows us to attach a rope. Unlike a rustic rope, which can be attached to any old block, but is made differently. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Is made differently to the hemp rope, and we just have more hemp rope now, so we may as well abuse it. So if I grab that, I'm going to break this so I can stand back on top of it. And then all the way up here. To a basically level with the mountain. I'd say that's about right. And I actually want to come out like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks. I'm going to attach an anchor to the side. Not quite. Not quite what I wanted. But we'll attach a rope to it nonetheless. Until we can't attach any more rope to it. There we go. So I guess I'll just do this instead. And now we have a way up and down. Hooray! I automatically start climbing it if I look up. That's cute. So yeah, we go all the way back up. Am I going to ping off the top here? Yes, I am. Good thing I predicted that. Yeah, tons more starlight. In fact, we fill it out. So, the name of the game here is going and getting our astral book and the required materials to build this to the next tier. So I will be back. Alright, I have all the resources I need. 8 marble, chiseled marble, 28 marble arches, 24 marble bricks, 8 marble pillars, and 24 sooty marble. And I've got my book to make sure I get it right. So we're just going to climb up there and build this thing. Now I've built this thing before, so I might be able to do some of it off the top of my head. I am not certain though. Well, okay. Pick you up, please don't fly off, thank you. So, I know the center goes like this. You got your 9, and then you've got 3 on each corner of your city marble, and that's how you use your city marble. I'm not sure what the last 3 is though. Oh wait, I do know. I had 24 city marble, 21 is the correct amount. 24 is just what I got out of the thing. So then it is brick. What's underneath you? Chiseled. So, grab the brick, start building that out. Excuse. That's that. Nice thing about having exact amounts is you know when you've placed it all. And that's that, and then this, it's 2 you each. Plus a chisel cap. Okay, and that just leaves the arches, which have no corners. And that should be our tier 2 altar. Once I have finished placing these. Which will reveal to us the next advancements for which we can carry on. So we get you, then we get you, and we do that. And then we do that, and we do that. I was kind of certain that's how that worked. Give me this. Uses. Nope. And then we do that, and that, and this, and these, and those. Starlight focusing abilities, luminous crafting table edition, blah 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 blah. In order to focus enough starlight, yes, make the structure. Ow. Ah, right. Yes. Okay. I remember how this thing works. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back with the bits. So, like, what? Ah, that. Whoa, there we go. It's taken a while. Don't normally think it takes this long. Unless mod author decide to increase the amount of time it takes to change it. Dubious. Hooray! It finally worked. Right as I was giving up. I was getting ready to climb down. Vision expands. We have now learned attunement. That's nice. So, that is that. Upgrade the luminous table. Aside from the table, you need to construct a structure. I have a feeling we probably need to break and place. Ah, we needed to get inside the table. And sweet, we're so high up and in such a good spot for starlight that we max out the tier 2 as well. That's nice. So, what's next on the agenda? Darkosto. You're going to need a carbonite reactor to create your first engine. Locate the reactor either by searching the Ergas Tower in the Twilight Forest or by crafting using resources found in Twilight. So, into the Twilight Forest dimension to continue your journey. Fill a 2x2 hole with water, surround it with plants, saplings, or flowers, and throw in an Astral Sorcery Star Metal Ingot into the water to create the portal. Okay, so it's the same old story, except we need Star Metal Ingot instead of a diamond. And for that, we need a Star Metal Ore, and for that, we need Starlight. Aha, okay. So we need 4 Nocturnal Powder, 4 Illumination Powder, that's the stuff I was thinking about, which acts as a light source, 2 Stardust, 9 Cluster, and 2 Stone. That doesn't seem too terrible. Illumination Powder isn't awful. Just requires some piles of sand, which just requires punching sand with your fist rather than a shovel. I think you can uncraft sand as well. So we have everything there. Glass shards are from breaking glass with the wrong tool. What was... Oh dear. I've lost my way. Nocturnal powder, that's what I wanted. 2 coal, black dye, illumination powder, lapis. Easy peasy. And Stardust is going to be the tricky one, I think. Because I think we're going to need to do that in a Hellfire Forge, because I've broken all the samples when I was making that damn crafting table, which I now regret making, because otherwise this wouldn't be a pain. So we're going to have to manually craft this stuff. Or do we? Or do we? I have an idea. I think this is how we will finish out this episode. Okay, provided... I need to make a new bucket. Provided I know what I'm talking about and there's no jiggery-pokery with hiding this behind stages or anything, I'm fairly certain we can manufacture Stardust in a different way. I have plenty of liquid starlight. I'm going to put you there and you there. I have plenty of rock crystals. So I believe... Excuse me, why did I pick that up? I can do this. And they will form into a rock crystal cluster. If I then break them immediately, they will drop Stardust instead of other rock crystals, which is what we're after. And then I don't have to get a Hellfire Forge and do all that stuff. I know it's working because of all this particle effects coming off. That doesn't usually happen. Usually it's only the very cool beams of light, but we shall see. Okay, I don't think this is working. It's just 8 crystal instead of the liquid crystal. Now I'm looking at the book. This is just increasing the size of them. Can't quite remember how you get them to turn into a crystal cluster. If I could remember how to do that, we'd be along the path a lot quicker than we are now. But right now, I'm creating some glass so that I can smash it. What do I do with that faucet? I think I literally attached it to that, which is spare lava, by the way. Yeah, but I got some glass to smash. We may as well get as much of this done before the end of the episode. And then we'll look into a Hellfire Forge. I was kind of hoping to leave blood magic by the wayside a little bit. But if we have to, we have to. Not that I don't like blood magic, it's just that I've done it a lot. And it doesn't suit my aesthetic. So you, in there, and the 4 sand, and the aquamarine, and the gunpowder. We grab some... No, normal sand. Nope. Yep. Alright. I'm getting confused because there's a hardcore setting where if you don't use the right tool, it will drop piles instead. So we got the 4 sand. Now we need the aquamarine and gunpowder. So gunpowder and aquamarine, and then for the other thing we needed 2 coal, black dye powder, which I just happen to have. Where are you? Thing? Probably in here somewhere. What? Illumination. Now you use the illumination powder, so reveal unto me, because I can't remember the word they use for darkness. Is that it? No. What word do you use? Nocturnal. Right. And then I need a piece of lapis. Alright, which I have on me, so that's good. We should have enough starlight even during the day because of where we've got things set up and our level of altar. And we should be able to get away with this unless the cost has been tweaked, which I wouldn't put it past, you know, for that to be the case, but we'll see. Oh, no, no, don't fall down to your death. That would be unideal. No, that's not ideal. Thank you very much. Ow. What I need to do here is do that so it's safer for me to land. Right, glass in the corners. Those corners, gunpowder, aquamarine. Illumination powder, go! Man, these recipes take a long time at the moment. Give me that. Thank you. And then it's like this. Yes. That one didn't take as long. Sweet. So, I think we need all of this. Yeah, we need all of this. But this one creates darkness. I wonder if I can place it. I'll cheat it in if it breaks it permanently. There we go. So that creates darkness, which summons baddies. It summons a lot of baddies, actually. Sweet. Alright. Excuse me. I thought it was the kind of thing you could place and pick up, but no, it's a limited time area of monster spawning, which is fair enough. And illumination powder, which I do believe is actually something you can place, break, and pick up. Or it's a permanent form of illumination. I'm not sure how you pick it up, though. How? Scaffolds? Maybe that just destroys it? Yeah, okay. Well, that one I'm okay with letting go forever. Alright, so next on our list is to get some iron and some stone. We have the stone already. Iron is easily got by going to our iron mine, which is out in the desert. So I guess what we need now, and I'm reluctant to say this, but it's the Hellfire Forge, right? Unless I can suddenly recall how to grow crystals. Which I thought involved crystals. Does it require max size crystals, maybe? Does it require... Oh no. I think I remember. I think it's liquid starlight plus stardust. And stardust is what we're looking for, so that's not going to happen. Is that right? Can I cheat by looking at the recipe for those? No. Okay. So, that means stardust. Hellfire Forge. Ender Dust. Rock Crystal. Black Iron Ingots. Lapis Lazuli. I think we're going to have to leave this till next episode, guys. I think this is the kind of thing I've got to do off camera at this point. Because we're also going to need a will crystal, which means that I'm going to need to get the, this thing, Sentient Sword. Which is its own Hellfire thing, a petty gem, and it's a lot of work. So I'm going to have to do that stuff. And by the time we get back, I'll have the Stardust, and then we can go visit the Twilight, and I think that will be pretty fun. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye!